Welcome to Behind the Brand, the podcast for small business owners, solopreneurs, and aspiring entrepreneurs who are ready to start strong, stand out, and stay bold. I'm Taylor.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Isabella, and we're part of the powerhouse team of marketers at Moxie Creative.
We're taking you behind the scenes to explore what it takes to build and grow a memorable brand.
Ready to get behind the brand? Let's dive in. On today's episode of Behind the Brand, we are going to do a quick state of the state on social media because this is the area of our business that we feel like is consistently ever changing. What's in one day can be out the next. If you are a small business owner or marketing manager, really just anyone trying to keep up with how fast the social media world is evolving right now, your head is probably spinning. There's a lot of noise from viral trends, polished content, influencer overload, etc. But what is actually working, and what should small businesses, especially local ones that are right here in our own backyard of St. Cloud, what should they be paying attention to? And I'm very lucky to be joined by our resident Gen Zers, Isabella and Mackie, today because I'm a millennial and I feel like I don't have my finger.
Finger?
Oh my God.
Got something there. Something's on the trigger.
My finger on the pulse of social media currently. So I'm really excited to sit down with the both of you and learn some new things, because while I don't do all of the social for our agency, I still need to know things, and I still do things for some clients and love to come up with ideas and all of that. So teach me your ways.
Well, okay, I'm curious with something first because, so Mackie, you're Gen Z, obviously, and I'm Gen Z, and then Taylor, you're millennial.
Yeah.
What kind of content are you guys feeling like you're engaging with right now? And then obviously, we're seeing a lot from creators, but then when you do engage with a brand, if you can think about a business or a brand that you engage with, what kind of content does it seem like you are enjoying seeing or just seeing more of right now?
So I'm in a really weird position because I'm not on social a ton right now. However, I do allow myself a little bit of Instagram guilty pleasure time once every couple weeks. I engage a lot with, and I don't know if that's because of my demographics and my age. I love to just see what people are doing in their life and how they're functioning through life. That's the kind of content that I enjoy. And I want something quick and digestible. Yes. I do not have the time to sit and watch something for long periods of time. Like I hear people saying like, oh, I just watched this YouTube vlog, and I'm like,
yeah,
what in the hell are you, what are you doing? How do you have the time to do that?
Totally.
So I like things that are quick and digestible. And then if it's a brand, I don't necessarily know if I'm engaging with the brand itself, but it's that user generated content. One that I think about is Alani. I'm constantly being served on my For You page, people trying new Alani flavors. And that is me interacting with the brand because I'm oh, I need to try that flavor. So that's the kind of content that I feel like I'm engaging with, more of that authentic, this is my life, let me welcome you into it.
Right. Yeah. And I want to touch on that, but Mackie, I want you to go first and you can kind of talk about what you're seeing and enjoying and watching.
Well, I will say it depends on what app I'm on. So if I'm on TikTok, I actually do watch longer videos because I don't like scrolling a lot. I will notice a lot of people when they watch TikToks, they'll watch the first 3 seconds of the video and they'll scroll right away. I'm the kind of person that watches every single video at least for 15 seconds. And so that a lot of times gives me long videos, and I just get interested in every single thing that comes on my page. So I watch literally anything and everything that shows up.
Yeah.
The most common stuff that I would watch on TikTok though are recipes. I really like watching cooking recipes and cooking videos. So I think when it comes to the type of businesses and content that I'm getting that way, it's a lot of oh, come check out this coffee shop with me, or the fancy desserts in LA.
Yeah.
I've seen those videos. I get those all the time. And I definitely like
them.
But I watch them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm way too into food. People eating food. Kind of gross, but
I love it. I love how do you say it? Mukbang?
Yeah.
Mukbang. I have not seen one forever, but I used to love those. Okay, so I think what's really interesting about what both of you guys talked about is, there are two things that are, I don't even want to call them a trend because they're things that will never die out. And obviously, I think that the biggest thing to talk about with brands and trends in general is that I think that trends need to be something that they can that businesses take as inspiration. It's kind of especially for small businesses, and that's what I kind of want to focus on this. It's kind of a wave that they can ride up on and think okay, this is something that we could lean into and post more of, and then you kind of evolve from there. You shouldn't jump from trend to trend to trend. Ultimately, over the last year, we've seen, funny videos are a huge thing for brands to jump on. And I think I enjoy seeing those, but
Yeah.
it's ultimately not for everyone, but it's also never going to go away.
Right.
So it just depends on where it fits for a brand. But something that you guys both talked about a lot that kind of goes into right now, we're all kind of fatigued with social media a bit. We're overstimulated and we're tired of seeing the overly polished content. We want to see more of
Yeah.
people's lives, what
Yeah,
they're
totally.
actually doing. Also, we're loving like the raw content of like, you know, especially I think you as a mother, Taylor, being able to probably see another mom like going through a
100%.
realistic day in her
Yeah.
life, right? And so brands that are kind of jumping on this, and I would say it's kind of a trend, but also just like a new digital era that are doing really well, are infusing storytelling into their content, infusing the reality of, especially with like their employees and including more employees into their content and humanizing the brand and having more raw content. Something that I put together a while back that never ended up making it out was that I said that the kind of content that works well on social media now is like comparable to the no makeup look.
Sure.
And that's because the content that's doing well looks effortless, but it takes more effort. Like there's more handwritten copy and videos. That takes more effort, but it looks more effortless. It feels intimate. When we engage with our creators, it's because it feels intimate. It feels like we're kind of part of their world. And so now brands that are doing well are doing things to make it feel like you're kind of part of their world. It feels more intimate. It feels more slow because we ultimately want to do things to make people feel less like, oh, this is a brand and this is business. And, you
I
know,
think it goes back to just, I mean, a marketing basic. I will use social media as an example because it goes back like to what we used to be doing. We have one client, and if we would use, you know, we're trying to obviously do more video, and we have like totally stepped up our social game, and it's a lot thanks to Isabella and thanks to Mackie and Tyler. We've been able to blow things out of the water. But, you know, when we were really graphic heavy, the graphics performed okay, but what always hit was when we would post a picture of someone in the organization.
right.
And now we have to do more than just post
Right.
pictures, but it's like people want to see the human side of a business.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the most relatable thing that you can be is that we're all human beings
Right.
living on planet Earth, you know?
Exactly.
And the more we can brands can lean into that in every facet of their marketing, the better off they'll be. That is how they're going to win.
Yeah.
So storytelling now isn't just for your website or a brochure. It has to go to every single platform.
Yeah. Yeah. And a business needs to be posting on social media like a person, not a brand.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so different trends that I'm seeing right now are like, so like text messages over candid photos rather than just like a graphic heavy post, or sensory and emotion driven language. My favorite example of this is Rhode Skincare and Beauty.
Yeah.
Their social media does that so
Yeah.
well. It's incredible.
That's why they just got bought for $1 billion.
Yeah, exactly. Did you buy the stock? I did. It's already gone up so much. Anyways, buy it if you haven't.
Queen.
Yeah, reels that feel like nostalgic, like we're really going into the nostalgic kind of stuff. That's where we're seeing a lot of the film things. So you'll see a lot of
Yeah.
big brands will have ads out on TV, and there will be film videos intertwined into the regular footage.
Yeah, I actually just saw a creator that I like following, and because last night I gave myself some Instagram time, and her husband announced that they were pregnant, and it was like the most beautiful video.
Yeah,
It was just like so. It was so cool, and it was like high end production for sure.
yeah,
But it goes back to like it
The
felt
feeling,
so
yeah.
effortless. Like
yeah,
they're just like having fun and like enjoying, and they're like fashion, like they're fashion parents. So
Yeah.
like they had like on cool outfits, and I just
Right.
was like, wow, that was one of the coolest pieces of content that I've seen in a long time.
right. And so I'm a big believer that every single post that needs to go out has to have a purpose, but no longer does it just have to have a purpose. It has to make someone feel. So that is the biggest thing I think of a trend, which I don't
Love
even
that.
want to call it a trend, but that's what brands need to do. Every single post
Yeah.
needs to make someone feel something. And if we go into, you know, like we're working on the Barrel Mill right now, and that's a newer client for social media, and going into example of kind of how we're working on doing this is that the Barrel Mill, for reference, they are barrel cooperage,
Mhm.
and something that they make is infusion spirals, and that's something that you can put into beer or wine or a spirit, and in 2 weeks you'll have a barrel aged spirit. First, in your head, you're going to think of, you know, selling the spiral as just, here's this spiral, and it adds flavors of rich pine and small notes of herb and citrus.
Mm.
But then I was like, okay, in order to get that sensory, emotion driven sell, it has to brew a beer that tastes like a walk through the woods.
Yeah.
Because then you're hitting all 5 senses
Mhm.
through that, and it's not just here's this spiral, here's what it's going to do, and here are the flavors that are in it.
Yeah.
Of course, that's part of it. That's like the next step, but in a oversaturated market. Like if you're not getting someone to feel something, then it doesn't stick. I think that feelings are the big, like people won't remember a brand name or your brand colors or anything or what you sell maybe, but they're going to remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
So I think that that's the biggest thing, and we're seeing that come through in all sorts of different ways on social media right now. And that's, I think, really big for product. But when we get into service-based industries, that's where it gets a little bit different.
Yeah. I'm looking at your list here, and you have reels that feel like home videos, and that's like exactly what like a
Oh, yeah.
it was literally like, you know, like
Yes.
her mom like had a camcorder and was just like recording them on
oh my
Christmas
gosh,
morning. It's
yeah.
like how it felt. It was so cool.
I have like all sorts of like wild ideas for like different brands of like if there was no budget and if I could just do whatever I wanted. And like one of them would be like to literally do all of their marketing content on social media with a film camera. And so like, for example, like if Sip and Pass listens to this, my idea for Sip and Pass, if we were doing their social media and there was just no budget, would be to post a bunch of videos of like the experience of having Sip and Pass. And it's all like these nights that are just like on film cameras. And it feels like a little like digital diary.
Yeah.
And so like that kind of stuff is like how a brand should be showing up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't, there's just so many different ways that you can do it. But ultimately, when people think about what they should be putting out, it's just goes back to that like feeling like what, you know, well, how can we be different? Yeah, exactly. The emotions, selling the emotion. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you also have here Instagram carousels with video and sound, which I think is funny because we just did that.
We did just do it. And it's been something that I started seeing a while back. And it's funny because not a while back, it's been more of a recent thing, to be honest. And it's funny because that adds like so much more work to a social media manager schedule. You cannot schedule that in advance, really. I think maybe
you can't.
Yeah.
I posted it and I was like, what in the like? And you use Sprout social here. You couldn't use Sprout.
Yeah,
do it. Yeah, it was
So, but it's so cool, and so the sound is another big thing on that. Having sound infused in things. We also did that video for Milk and Honey where I went out and got the footage of their first show for their music series for the summer. I got videos of the full experience, not just the band playing. And when we put it together, I was like, okay. From the beginning, I wanted when you watched the video to make it feel like you were there for it. And so, okay, we put the video together, it looks great, but I was like, okay, now we have to add sound so that it really feels like you're there. And like that, just that element alone, adding that in just adds so much to it. So yeah, adding sound, it's not just about the images that you're posting or the video that you have, the sound is important. And then also another thing that I think is hard for some of our designers to do because they are like, I don't want to do less, I want to do more, is the very minimalist kind of like graphic design style with, I feel like just like less is more on social media right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, we are trending that way. And it might seem like, a client might be like, well, what am I paying for? You just,
right.
But there's a lot of time and thought that still goes into that from our designers. It's still a lot of work. One of the things that I want to talk about, and because I feel like it's something that we talk about here a lot, and you're talking about, I can't even think of how you worded it. Businesses need to show up as people, or brands need to show up as like they're a person. And so how do we get our clients and the people, whether it's a small business and there's one person, or it's a sales manager that we work with, or a marketing professional that we work with, how do we get them more involved, especially as an agency? Because sometimes people feel like agencies can't do social anymore.
Right.
But we can, and we can do it really well, but we also need involvement from the client, because we want you to be the face of your social.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's honestly something that I feel like I'm kind of struggling with right now. And I'm realizing that it's not something that you can necessarily like ask a client to do down the line. Obviously, you can bring it up, and if they are like down to do it, then it's a yes, it's a go, and you'll work with them through that and support them. I was kind of just like, when I was writing some of this before about what I wanted to talk about, something that I left out of this was that in those kind of scenarios, it's like, those pull-up machines that like support you on the legs, and like it's not full like push up or pull up on your own.
Yeah.
We're the same in that instance where it's like we're supporting it. We can't do all of it. Like we can't do all your reps for you. You have to show up and do it. And we're there to help you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's helping them with the strategy. It's helping them stay consistent. It's helping them with the heavy lifting of editing the videos and putting them out there and making them show up. But if they're not willing to show up, then it's just not going to work, and they shouldn't spend money on it, and they just have to start making business in other ways.
Yeah.
But it's a huge thing.
I agree with that completely. I feel that we need our clients to participate, and that's when we do our best work. We really value partnerships and collaboration with our clients, and I don't just say that as like a buzzword. It is like very true, and the best outcomes happen when the client is involved, but they come to us because maybe they don't have the ideas. They can't remain consistent on their own. And those are the things that we can help them.
Right. Exactly. Like if they're willing to show up, we're willing to make sure that you show up correctly and continue to show up. So I think that's really important. Something that, I mean, I think, and like right now, I feel like referring to more like service. No, I mean, product-based owners, obviously, too, but service is a huge thing right now because I'm calling this right now one of the biggest things we're going to see, especially as my generation, Mac's generation, gets more in the workforce and starts their own businesses. We're already seeing it happening where you're no longer just a founder. You also have to become an influencer for your own brand. I was just telling this to Mackie because I was writing this as a LinkedIn post that never made it out. If I was a real estate agent tomorrow and I wanted to become very well known in the industry in my area quickly, I would create a social channel that is around real estate and myself, and I would obviously create my email and SMS list, and that's the place I would sell to, but I would build my audience through social media, and I would do this through posting events that are going on in the community every week because that reaches my audience and it keeps people engaged, coming back and following me. I would take my clients out to lunch and do videos and have them take me to their favorite spot in that neighborhood because that taps on neighborhood pride. It creates debate in the comments. And again, it reaches my audience. I would do story times of my own experiences, ones that build credibility, and then also ones maybe with my client. And then I would do some like market updates, but things to ultimately then push them through the funnel to get them to sign up for emails and SMS where I'm like actually selling, like, here's what I'm listing and all of that stuff. And not everyone wants to show up like that, but that's how you, another thing to add to that actually is that I could go on and I could just make a bunch of funny videos, right? And I could maybe get a bunch of followers because I get some viral funny videos. But does it matter to have 1,000 or 1,000 to 10,000 followers that are just people in the area, or 100,000 people all around the US, all around the world maybe because they think I'm funny? Okay, maybe if I want a TV show, maybe if I just like want to become a comedian, but if I want to be a real estate agent and I want to sell to my audience, I need to do things that aren't just me pushing my services online. I need to do things that build an audience of people that I can eventually sell to, that I can build credibility with, build trust with, build an audience with, build loyalty, get my name out there. A person who does this kind of naturally and is just very known in the community and just does like, I don't even think she fully knows what she's doing. Not that she doesn't know what she's doing, but she doesn't realize that like this is a strategy that I would tell maybe other people to do, is Mary Bruno Pess. Like she shows up online, she shows up in the community.
Yeah.
And that's why she's so well known. And if she wanted to take it steps further, she could do that. But like that's ultimately how people need to be showing up.
Yeah. I agree. You give a lot of really awesome realtor tips. So Jason Miller.
Yeah, if you're a realtor out there. Yeah.
Jason Miller, Trust Real Estate, Moxie client.
Yeah.
Got tips for you. No, I love all of that. I can second that Bruno does an awesome job. If anybody out there is like, I want some social media tips, I want to see what she's doing, go follow her. Bruno Press, Mary Bruno. She's a letterpress printer, friend of Moxie.
Awesome. One of the coolest people I know for sure.
Yeah.
I've never met her, but I've seen her name around town.
Exactly.
But I feel like
yeah, exactly.
That's huge about like making yourself like an influencer for your brand. Even if people have never seen your business or your products, if you're well known enough and you put your name out there enough, like people are gonna feel like they know you anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
And like that would make me want to buy something from her.
And that's so value in like a local area. Yeah, exactly. Because years ago I've seen her name all the time. Like, she must be great, right? And she is great.
Yeah.
But it's so value in like in a town like St. Cloud, and any town that's smaller. It's just it's
and
huge.
she's just also a special person.
She is.
Just, someone might go out there and watch it and they may be like, well, I can't do that. And maybe you can't because like Bruno is Bruno. He does not hold anything back, but lean into what you can do.
Yeah, totally.
Lean into the things that make you special. So let's get into that now. Besides working with Moxie, what are some things that small businesses can do to help improve their social media platform at this current day and age?
Yeah. Okay. So we kind of talked about UGC a little bit. That's user generated content. So that's when maybe a product based business or an app or something is having their users create a video around the product or service or whatever it is and showing how it works, or making some kind of video where they're using it. But another thing you can do that we're actually seeing more and more is the employee generated content.
Yeah.
And so that goes as far as like Ulta is paying employees to review their products. And then that there's already credibility there with that. But then also we're seeing smaller businesses, like ones that we work with, where we're using the employees in the content and people are coming back to them kind of almost like they're like their favorite characters in a TV show. And that's something that I think is super valuable, that I think anyone can be doing, and you can do really kind of any kind of content with that, even if it's just
You
can
do
stick
some
to
really
a few
fun
different
stuff
ones.
with White Wolf.
Yeah,
White Wolf Custom Apparel and Design, Little Falls. You do some really fun stuff with them.
yeah,
And every once in a while when I hop on, like I will see, like they have some reels that have gotten some really awesome reach.
yeah.
And it's always like these ones that are really funny, and
Yeah.
Mackie, go there and
Right.
do them. And those
Yeah,
are,
and on Facebook
so
it's fun because like we try to push Instagram, but Facebook is really where it's at for
Yeah.
them. And like every time we put a funny video out, they gain new followers, get new page likes. Like it's just it's awesome. And then that helps because like when we then do post the serious things that really do help sell their product and their services, it works. They're
Yeah.
able to sell it. So that's where that's important. And then we can go back to the making people feel something. So whether you're a restaurant or a bar, making content that makes people feel like they're there, that they understand what it feels like to be there. Drinks, the point of making a great drink video is to make them feel thirsty, you know,
Yeah.
make them want that drink. And so things like that, using sound and whenever you can, posting fun, casual, like even just like dumps terms,
Do you
an
think-
Instagram dump.
Do you guys do like photo dumps?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but not in the way that like Gen Z are doing it. And I've even seen this on LinkedIn because that's the social platform that I spend most of my time on. And people will do photo dumps, but then they write like really cute or like have just
Yeah.
little accents to the photo that make it
Right.
not
Yeah.
dumb.
Stuff
but
like that, and that kind of like just show like the different elements of your brand or
Yeah.
business. And I don't know,
I was
it
kind of
just-
thinking that we should do something like that for
I was
Moxie's
yeah,
anniversary,
totally.
because I think it makes it a little bit more engaging. But going back to your handwritten, whatever, like it's authentic. Like it
Yes.
feels
like
oh,
text
they,
messages.
yeah,
and,
yeah,
it just
yeah,
feels
yeah.
very like humanized.
yeah, you say
um,
dumps, photo
Yeah,
dumps.
photo dumps. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, awesome. And I was gonna add to that. I'll go to my next one while I think about what I was gonna say in the other one. But anyways, series. Don't just think one-offs when it comes to content. Think of like what's a series that you could have. I especially think it's important for brands to have kind of like a series that's like adjacent to what they actually offer. Like when I was talking about the real estate agent stuff, you know, I was talking about things that build an audience in the community, but I'm not just like selling my services, right? So that is really dependent on what kind of business it is. Sometimes it's educational, sometimes it can be fun series, but like going back to like the kind of like TV show thing, TV character stuff. But it can really be, it could be like if you're an ice cream shop, different ice cream orders, made up ice cream orders.
Yeah.
That's fun with like crazy customer names.
Yeah, I like those. I get stuck watching like Dairy Queen things.
Oh.
but make their cooking videos.
Bingeable
Yes,
content.
yeah.
That's the thing. So when your
I-
series becomes a bingeable content, then it's like, okay, and you watch so many of them, all right, I'm going to follow them to see when the next one comes, or you seek them out.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
Oh,
Yeah.
this just gave me an idea for.
Oh, yes. I just have so many ideas that are just like running everywhere and all over and just trying to do something different. And again, like these are trends, but I don't even know if I want to call it trends. This is just like inspiration to me
Yeah.
of like just things that brands and businesses can be doing. Yeah.
And I feel like they don't really go out of trend either. So
No.
the ones that you've mentioned, like they're good staples and you can always change them to make them your own
Mhm.
and make them not so trendy, but still follow like
Yes.
the idea.
Yes. That's a perfect add-on to like that what you just said right there is so important. Like if you do follow a trend, right? Like there's a trending video and you want to do it, okay? Find a way to make it more valuable and find a way to make it your own that aligns with your brand. And I think that the bottom line is to create with intention and don't just try to fill a space.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Bella, this was really informative. It's actually given me a lot of ideas, especially for things that we can do for Moxie. We are trying to do some different things on our platform, and we should be the foundation, right?
Yeah.
So when our clients want to come and
sure.
work with us, we are our own case study. So this was really fun. I have a lot of ideas. I hope, Mackie, you have some ideas, and I'd love to schedule a meeting to talk about what
Yes.
we're going to
Touch base.
do
We'll
what we're
circle back
gonna
to this.
One final question for you, Bella. If there is just one thing that a small business should focus on from today's episode, what is it?
I think that we talked about all of the things, right? Be on social media like a person, not like a brand or a business, and make people feel something. But ultimately, I think at the end of the day, one of the most important things to remember is that it's not just about how many people you reach. It's about reaching, number one, the right people. They're the ones who are going to support you, refer you, and do business with you. Don't constantly try to reach for all these followers, or we shouldn't post because it's only got... I just saw a post on LinkedIn that was like, why are we acting like 50 likes isn't a big deal? Because you know what? If it's 50 likes from your right audience, that is a big deal. And say you don't have a
Yeah.
big audience, like, yeah, that's a big deal. So don't feel like you're embarrassed to show up just because you're not getting enough followers or likes or as much as the other person. Because a lot of these big accounts that are maybe getting all these views and likes and follows are not getting it for the right reasons and not from the right audience. So create with intention, create for your audience, and just keep at it and be consistent.
Yeah, I love it. Commit to it.
Yeah.
And do it. Give it a shot, a real shot.
Yeah.
You know, don't just post once and think, oh, that
Doesn't work.
Show up.
Yeah. Totally.
The payoff will be worth it.
Totally.
Okay.
We're here for you.
Wonderful. Well, if you guys out there have any questions on social media, I know 2 people that will be amazing to help you on that journey. They're sitting right next to me, and our inbox, everything is always open to talk about social. It's becoming a really big service for us, and we have really just loved helping level up brands through social media, and we just want to continue doing that more and getting better at it and perfecting that craft as a social agency. So if you have any questions, you know where to find us. See you next week.
Bye.
Peace out. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Behind the Brand. If you liked this episode, share it with a friend. If you didn't, share it with an enemy. To keep up with us, follow along on our socials. Links are in the show notes below.